That's it. Okay.
What up, Wig Split?
What's up, everybody on the Dante Greco show? What's up to everybody on the Joy of Everything? We're back live again from Shookie's store here in downtown LA, 12th and Main. All your clothing and luxury and luggage needs will be met here. Come on down. Come on down. Joe?
It's quite the facility here, Dante. Shookie has an enormous collection since last time we've been here. Some great discounted items. If you guys mention the Dante Greco show or Joy of Everything, you get special discounts. And we're talking hats that are really nice for like $5.
They are nice.
Wholesale under retail, guys. These same hats would cost you $25-30. He's got designer jeans for like $20. So come on down. I mean, he's got inventory here.
It's a pretty crazy deal. Come down before this place really blows up.
Yeah.
So you had quite a weekend in San Diego. And also, I was surprised that you were right back out there on Monday covering the strikes.
Oh,
too.
You know it. Yeah.
I thought that you were going to be exhausted and need like a couple days to recharge because you were at ComicCon all day and all night. It was incredible to watch.
Thank you. Yeah, three days. I took Saturday off, but ComicCon, that was my first experience, and that might have something to do with it. Whenever you go into a new experience, you have a little more maybe excitement about it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I was intrigued and enthralled the entire time, and it was air conditioned. ComicCon was air conditioned, so I was able to move about the cabin, and I got about 70,000 steps in 3 days.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
You're set for the year.
I know, right?
You don't even need a physical this year. We know it's good. First of all, everyone was wondering with the strikes, are any celebrities even going to be there? Are they allowed to be there? Are they going to be on the panels and all that? So what did you see when you were there?
So celebrities were allowed to be there, but they just couldn't promote the films. So like Haunted Mansion was one of the big movies that was being promoted at Comic-Con, and there was a lot of cosplay related to that. So none of those actors, but one of the original Black Power Ranger, Walter Emmanuel Jones, was there, and I did an interview with him. He informed me that he was able to be there because Power Rangers, that legendary show, was in fact a non-union production.
Oh my God.
There were wrestlers there like Seth Rollins, Mick Foley was there. We saw AJ McLean, who was just there, because he's a huge collector.
He's got a fresh hairdo.
His hair looks great.
It was bleached.
It was bleached, and I'm not sure what's going on up there, Dante, but I'll tell you this real quick. I had an interview at TMZ that I did with AJ, and I shared it with my viewers when I was at Comic-Con, but AJ was so proud of his hair implants when he got them back in probably 2015, 2016. And he showed off his brand new follicles, follicular unit extraction procedure that he had just got done. He was super proud of them. Unfortunately, that interview was never published. And I thought it was a shame. I was like, this is a Backstreet Boy explaining his hair implant.
He's become a Backstreet man. And he needed hair.
Right. But it was so cool how down to earth he was just to explain that, because a lot of celebrities who have hair implants, they probably don't want to let people know. Jeremy
Piven has yet to comment on his very obvious hair implants.
Yeah, exactly. And possibly Tom Brady.
And possibly LeBron James. I don't want to add any more stress to his life today, but
yeah.
We've talked about that. And we'll talk about that in a second, in a nice way. But I am shocked to hear you say that, because when I looked at his hair, I thought, wow, AJ just kept his hair the whole time and he bleached it. I would feel uneasy bleaching my hair to that extreme, knowing that it had been surgically reimplanted around my head. Because, they say when you bleach your hair or you do too much to it, it can make it fall out. Yeah, the guy is playing with fire right now.
Yeah. I was friends with a balding celebrity once, Ethan Embry, great guy, but he was balding. And, I was a little bit younger than him, and I noticed my hair to thin a little bit in my late 20s. And I asked him, I said, well, how do you, maintain your hairline? What's left of it? Because he would always talk about it. And he said, don't put any product in it.
Yeah.
He said he was like, because it'll clog up your follicles. He goes, I wore so much product that he thinks that's why he lost his hair.
Ethan Embry from Can't Hardly Wait.
Yes.
Okay.
I stood in for him on a movie in Albuquerque, and we became very good friends. He's a really sweet guy. Him and Boyd Holbrook
Who's Boy Holbrook?
He's a huge actor. He's the villain in Indiana Jones. Boy, he's from Kentucky. He's about our age, maybe a little younger.
Related to Hal Holbrook?
I don't know.
Let me look that up.
He was in Milk. He was in Milk. That was his first major like breakthrough role, but he was also in Narcos.
Oh.
He has a Brad Pitt look, very handsome guy, but he was in that movie and we were all like, now his career skyrocketed since then. The movie was called Reunion.
Okay.
And it was filmed in Tamalewood, Albuquerque, New Mexico. Albuquerque.
Tamalewood.
Yeah, they call it
Tamalewood. Okay.
Yeah. And they do have great green chili tamales there.
I love that. I don't know. It's not a clear answer whether he's related to him. He might be a cousin of Hal Holbrook. He was an older actor. He's in a lot of stuff. He was in Lincoln. He was in he might have been in Dog Day Afternoon, if I'm remembering correctly, as like a police chief or something. What was I gonna say?
Interesting.
About ComicCon.
Yeah.
Okay, so was the Power Ranger wearing his outfit?
No, and you could go check out my video. I did an interview with him. He was just wearing a tap out shirt, just like a regular. He was dressed very casual.
Yeah,
a very down to earth, nice guy. And videos with celebrity there, you have to pay. If you go to Comic-Con, you pay the $500, $600. You have to pay for a video or a photo, a selfie with them.
Sure.
Yeah, so he was kind enough just to do it for free. And I also interviewed the original Flash Gordon, Sam Jones, in a and I never really knew this movie, but it was a 1980s film, Flash Gordon.
Yeah,
and it was pretty cool. It's like a space opera.
I remember that. Yeah, Flash Gordon, not to be confused with the Flash.
Not to be confused with Ezra Miller.
Ezra Miller.
Right. No, this is the OG. There. Yeah, but there's one from like the 30s too, like a Flash Gordon. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what else I figured out yesterday? I was covering some event and I found out that soap operas are still on the air because they're not technically union either. So they're allowed to do things. They're working. And so, if you're looking for something to watch that's new, keep up with your favorite soaps.
Yeah.
General Hospital, Young and the Restless.
Yeah. Bold and the Beautiful.
Bold and the Beautiful.
Yeah. As the world turns. Half of these probably don't exist anymore, but
maybe we will see. I know, right? Maybe we'll see a resurgence in the viewership of soap operas.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah. And, back to that that point about new stuff coming out. I was on the front lines at the actors strike yesterday, and I interviewed Adam Conover.
Is that Adam Ruins Everything?
Yeah.
Again. Okay, so I'm starting to like him more because he keeps showing up to the strikes.
Well, he's on the board at the Writers Guild.
Oh, okay.
So he's like part of it. Yeah. So he's very pointed with his answers. Yeah. And so I asked him just a personal question that I had in my mind. I was like, well, isn't now a good time to like start making your own independent films if you're not a member of the Screen Actors Guild and you're a creative? Like that opens a world of possibilities to me since Hollywood's not making pictures. Yeah. And he kind of, not that he was offended, but he called it scabbing, and I never heard that term.
Scabbing?
Yeah, no, I never heard it.
No. That's what anyone who crosses the picket lines to go and work in some way, they call them a scab.
Okay. But what if you're not part of the union? The SAG never did anything for me.
Yeah.
Like what?
Well, the idea is that one day you're going to need the union, and then they're going to say, well, you scabbed us.
Well,
you're out.
I don't know. I did a lot of non-union stuff where I thought that it was union work out of state. Like the jobs I did in Albuquerque as a stand-in and in Chicago, in those smaller markets, they were all non-union gigs. So I never got, any kind of benefit or pay. Like, I was paid minimum wage with no benefits. So I don't know. But I just think it's interesting because what if you just want to make a movie?
Right.
Like now.
No, you can't. I mean, you can go to maybe UCLA and round up some film students.
That's what I'm saying. Well, no, if you and I wanted to go shoot a short film and,
I think it's very, very admirable on the part of both of us that we've continued to not get any acting work through the strike to support it. We weren't getting any before.
Yeah, exactly.
And we're not getting it. Yeah. We're not trying to get any now.
Right.
We're not
Small
scabbing.
morsel. I used to dream of being in SAG. I did.
Yeah.
I used to dream of being a SAG actor.
I got
it
a
just
SAG,
never happened.
Got a SAG waiver a couple times.
You did?
That SAG pay is nice. I had 2 lines on the show Nashville like 9 years ago, 8 or 9 years ago. $970 for the day.
Oh, wow.
And then I got like a $300 check a couple months later. And to this day, my most recent residual was for 3 cents. So I'm still getting paid.
Wow.
Off of this. Yeah.
And what was the gig?
Nashville. ABC's
Okay.
Nashville.
And you were featured?
I was on. I had 2 lines.
No
My
way.
lines were what and huh?
Oh, nice.
And it's still every once in a while I get a check, sometimes for $14. So
that's awesome, dude. Well, that must have been a great experience. You had your own trailer on set?
I had a very small trailer. It was not a great experience though, because I didn't understand the way that they shoot professionally. They shoot all the most important people's close-ups first. And so when I was doing the scene, I was giving my all without the camera on me. So by the time the camera got to me, I had nothing left. Oh, and the director got mad and was like, can we just see like anything on your face that shows that, you know what's going on? I was like, I'll try again.
Because you had already done
I was emotionally blown out from going, and what?
What year was that?
So many times. That was, 2016, early 2016.
And you weren't at TMZ at that time. This is when you were taking a break.
Yeah, I had moved to they had moved me out to Nashville after 6 months. They wanted to pull the plug because there just wasn't enough TMZ level footage and stories out there. I said, no, I'm going to quit. I'm going to stay here. I want to like go out on my own, tried to do radio and acting. And so that was one of my last gigs that I got before running back to LA and not begging for my job back, but pleading.
Right.
So that I could, so that I could,
they were lucky to have you and me and others for so long. And they really were. We were professionals. Whenever we approached a story, like Dante covered a lot of court stuff, probably a little more than I did, but we both did court. We were both one of the handful of court camera.
We could be trusted to show up to the court. We could be trusted to get there early in the morning. They knew we were going to get there at 6 a.m. And stand there and do the whole thing.
Yeah.
Jesse Rowe on my channel has called me a paparazzo, by the way. Former TMZ colleague Jesse Rowe, who now works for the wildly successful Inside Fighting, which if you're a UFC MMA fight fan, you got it. They're a must follow.
They are. I watch them and I love their podcast, Fight Season. If you want to, I don't know anything not too much about combat sport. I mean, I know a little to get by.
Yeah.
Old boxers and whatnot, but they are up to date on the latest, trends in the combat sport world.
Yeah. I also know very little about fighting, and that's why I used to be on that podcast until it became clear that I had nothing to add.
You're just kind of like the guy in the back, like a silent Bob,
Yeah, I was the researcher.
You were the researcher. But no, Jesse I'm always reminded Jesse, because his comment, he said paparazzi. I think Jesse, it was Selena Gomez that told Jesse, because Jesse was filming her, or it tried to interview her somewhere in the valley, I think.
Right.
In Woodland Hills, if I'm not mistaken. And she told Jesse, she says, you're too nice to be doing this. You're too nice of a boy.
Yeah. Right. So, well, she's into guys that look like Jesse. Jesse looks kind of like Bieber, but like if Bieber was the actor playing Jesse in a movie, like much more handsome and whatnot, and Jesse was the real guy that it was based on.
I got it.
Yeah.
I got it.
You still watching, Jesse? Just making sure Jesse's still watching.
Yeah. So ComicCon, and Jesse covered ComicCon. Jesse was at ComicCon last year.
Yeah.
And I thought it was just a great celebration of pop culture. It's not in the term nerd kept showing up on my feed, like, oh, nerds, trolls were calling them nerds, but I think nerds are cool. Nerds have always been cool.
Nerds run Hollywood right now. They have for the last 10 or 15 years. I think ever since Iron Man came out, they kind of took over. So
yeah, I mean, we all saw Revenge of the Nerds, and that movie is like, it epitomizes like it's cool to be a nerd. Like there's nothing wrong with it today.
That one will not fly.
Which one?
Revenge of the Nerds.
You can't show it?
I think it's one of those movies where if you go back now and watch it,
it's politically incorrect.
It would erase all of the progress of the Me Too movement and everything like that. That's what I've heard. I haven't seen it in years, but I read articles like these are movies that you can't watch anymore.
Really? Oh, okay. I
Porky's and Revenge of the Nerds and stuff like that.
I just remember as a kid, I really liked. I saw it in the theaters.
Yeah, no, I used to watch it. It was fun.
It was fun.
So I saw you also got Jack Black on the front lines ticketing.
Yeah, and I've been wanting to see Jack Black around. I mean, I talk about him all the time because he never talked to me at TMZ. He would only shadow box. I'd run into him and I'd be like, "Hey, Jack, what's up, bud?" With my TMZ camera, it said TMZ really big. He knows exactly who it is.
Yeah,
I'd see him in Beverly Hills or around LA, and he would do a shadow. He would do this like shadow box thing, and I thought it was so enormously cool. I was like, "Oh, what a great clip!"
Yeah,
and they would never use it. But the thing is like yesterday, sans TMZ camera, he gave me an interview and he was talking about the strike. So
I like that you pitched him on playing Orson Welles. It hadn't occurred to me, but he does look like an Orson Welles.
He does.
He also looked like Orson Welles. There's some great clips of Orson Welles when he was older on like the Dick Cavett show and other stuff like that, where he's got the same big beard that Jack Black had in your clip.
Exactly.
It's very interesting conversation, and he really would play that part well. Honestly, when the strike is over, you got to go down there and try to get him one more time and just be like, "Listen, I'm working on a script, even if you're not."
Right.
I'm working on the script right now.
Ooh.
I'm not union, so don't do it on camera. And then pitch him on that. He might be down. I mean, I almost got a movie made with Dan Aykroyd for the sequel to Blues Brothers. I pitched him. This was at TMZ, of course. So then Harvey claimed that they owned the idea, which I guess technically they would. Soul Sisters, starring Tiffany Haddish and Cardi B.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Dan was like, "I love it. What's your name, man? I'll give you an executive producer credit."
That's a great idea, Dante. Yeah. See, we're full of
never
great
happened,
ideas.
All the politics of the industry and all that.
Jeez. But, yeah, it all starts with an actor too. Like, so you have someone in mind, a character, and you build around it. Like, I could see him being a modern day, Citizen Kane remake up at Hearst Castle. We'll film there. It'll become even more of a tourist attraction.
Well, listen, they made a movie, an Oscar-worthy movie about Mankiewicz.
Jesse, does Jesse know we're filming right now?
I don't think Jesse knows how live streams work. He's watching, at least on mine, and he's calling you.
We're filming right now. You're calling.
Put him on speaker.
I know.
This is like a Norm Macdonald thing.
I'm embarging myself onto this podcast. Is that a word? Embarging?
Barging in. We have, by the way, for Joe's viewers, we have Jesse Rowe, our former colleague, calling in live right now. What a treat.
Yeah, because Dante uses his phone to record, I guess. So he won't even know if I'm contacting.
That's true.
I just wanted to get this on the record so everybody, all the people listening can know. Selena Gomez told me I was too cute to do the job.
Right.
That's what happened. It was at the Topanga Mall. I was too cute to do the job.
Right.
So I just wanted that on the record.
He had her eyes checked out lately?
What's up?
Dante said, has she had her eyes checked out lately?
Yeah, she hasn't seen me and what's happened to me in the past 6 or 7 years. It's about 6 or 7 years ago. But no, I just want to call and say, hey, love you guys. You guys are doing a great job. Joe, you're doing a great job replacing me as Dante's podcast co-host. Dante, we didn't get rid of you because you didn't have anything to add. I've gotten rid of you twice now because you're just not a very good co-host, brother. You're not a very good co-host.
I don't bring the content to their type of show.
No. Anyways,
you really do an awesome job on Fight Season. Check out the Fight Season podcast with Jesse Rowe. And who's your co-host? What's his name?
Yeah, I don't even know if he'd want us to be talking about him, but he goes by Andrew Capichetti.
No, not him. No, the other one. The other co-host.
Timmy Shoes.
Yeah, Timmy Shoes out of Brazil. I like him too.
He's talking about the real.
Yeah, he's one of the co-hosts because Cap hasn't been on for a while. But yeah. Anyways, boys, is that in Shookie's warehouse?
It is.
Yeah.
Nice. I love it.
Yep.
All right. Well, hey, Joe, I hope ComicCon went well. Just wanted to say hi to you guys and keep up the great work, boys.
Thanks, pal.
Thanks, Jesse.
Later, Jesse.
All right, guys.
Thank you so much.
Peace out, brother.
Great call in. I want to figure out how to, once we really get our studio set up in here, I want to figure out how to get live callers. So you guys can call in. If you don't want to just comment, you can call in, and people on my channel can call in too. It'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, we can do that.
So what's going on? How is everybody out there? Anybody have any questions? These shows, we usually like to take questions if anyone's wondering what's up before I get to some news stories.
Let's see.
This Bronny James thing was crazy, by the way. And
yeah.
You know what I found interesting? Apparently TMZ broke the story. All right. So then later today, somebody in LeBron James's camp gave an exclusive to the Daily Mail about how LeBron's feeling and how he's scared and devastated and all that. I wonder if that was kind of to spite TMZ for breaking the news before they wanted it out there. So they said, okay, well, we're going to give our exclusive from LeBron to the Daily Mail, to a competitor.
Possibly. Yeah. I mean, it could be through the PR, and
yeah,
it could be LeBron himself. He's very media savvy.
Right. Or Rich Paul or something like that.
Oh yeah. Yeah. But Sharif O'Neal suffered a similar cardiac arrest.
Yeah.
And he's rebounded, but above everything, the sport, basketball, the health of Bronny James is on our mind right now. And he's a good kid, and LeBron's a great dad.
He is. It's a scary story. I don't want to get too far into this for a couple of reasons, but also because I don't know if they just kick you off or demonetize you if you say, if you talk about the thing.
Oh yeah.
But people are out, like even Elon Musk. I feel like it was a little too soon for Elon Musk to be wading into that story and trying to suggest that it was something else. Look, whether you believe it or not, you can't rule out anything, but it's a little soon.
It should be off limits at this point in time. I mean, this has happened before all that, like Sharif O'Neal, Hank Gathers, who died on the basketball court, same age as Bronny James, right. College kid at Loyola Marymount. I mean, it happens, and life is precious. I mean, we have a heart inside our body, and it beats. Our whole system depends on that heartbeat. So sometimes you take it for granted.
I really hope that it doesn't mean that he's going to have to give up his playing career. Hopefully, I think Sharif obviously had a different issue, but he had some surgery, and I believe, he's getting himself back out there. He's going to continue to pursue it. I hope that's the same for Bronny, because it's been so integral to he and to LeBron. LeBron's dream is to play with him one day, and he just committed to USC. They haven't even started the season yet. So
well, thoughts and prayers with Bronny James. I have a subscriber who's asking, Julia is asking Dante his opinion on Carly Russell and her faking her kidnapping.
It's just the weirdest story. It's good that it was a hoax, because it means there wasn't a toddler walking on the side of the road and whatever other weird connotations that would have. I don't know what she thought was going to come out of this. We saw her Google searches, like the movie Taken and how old is too old for an Amber Alert and stuff like that.
Oh my God.
I don't know if she was trying to get clout, which if she was, I suggested on my other site, ClickPop, that don't delete your profiles. If you're trying to do this for clout, don't take down your social media profiles, because people will follow you. And then once all the hate subsides, you'll still have the followers. So if that was it, don't make it all for nothing. As far as whether the cops should charge her with something, I could see, I don't know if you want to jail somebody for this, because ultimately no one did get hurt, even though people could have. And, you don't want to be draconian, but there's got to be some kind of, I don't know, community service, something like that. You can't just go around faking major kidnappings that have the entire country looking for you for 2 days.
I'm sure there's a crime there somewhere.
Yeah. Oh no. They're weighing whether or not they're going to charge her. It's just really weird. I don't know the motivation, unless it is that she's just going through some mental health struggles, and it made sense in her mind, in which case you feel for her.
Right.
But come on. How do you think this is going to work with the searches? Of course they're going to check your searches and mobilizing so many people out there to look for you. It's just a bad idea. Do not hoax a kidnapping of yourself or anyone else.
So someone asked me, I totally agree. Someone asked me, do I know what the Chicago Bulls logo looks like upside down? And yes, you cannot unsee that. I just wish I would have known about that as a kid. It is very strange. Have you ever seen it?
I think I have, but I don't remember.
All right. Upside down.
What is that?
Is this? Wait, that doesn't look the same. Oh yeah, it does. All right, it does.
Is that like an alien?
Robot? See the robot?
It's a robot controlling
And look,
something. All right, let's turn that around so people could see.
it's a robot doing something. See the hands?
Robot DJing or something.
No. Look at the.
Oh. It's a little bit more. If you could just put it over here too for 1 second for my large viewership. A robot performing some kind of act. Interesting.
Yeah, they said it's with a crab.
A crab. Okay. All right. That's
It's
some
very
weird
bizarre,
stuff.
yeah.
That is a weird logo. I
don't think it was intentional.
Yeah.
But
you know what? That's been out there for a while now, and they haven't done anything to change it. So
right.
Maybe they like it.
I just can't believe growing up in Chicago with that iconic logo, we didn't see that as kids because it's the same logo.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Back then, maybe people did see it. There was just nowhere to share it. Like, you're going to go to the game and be like, look at this.
That's true. It wasn't in the paper.
Everybody started. Yeah, they're not going to cover it in the Chicago Sun-Times.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, social media was not around.
Unless Michael Jordan brought it up one day, or Scotty.
Oh,
Michael Jordan kind of looked like a bull. You know, when he was younger and more in playing shape, there were times when he would like run and like, you know, he'd be like, his nostrils would flare up because he was like,
He was a sports god.
He embodied his logo.
Yeah. Speaking of Michael, I've lost all respect for Scottie Pippen in the last like year. I don't know what he's doing. He's just, you know, he said that Michael Jordan, there's too much going on with Scotty, and I think he's a clout chaser himself.
Yeah, we interviewed Scotty, or at least I did, multiple times over the years at TMZ. He was always a little oversensitive about the whole thing, you know, especially when he would show up to Beverly Hills and go eat at Il Pastaio, or one of the most popular restaurants that you can go to where you know there's going to be camera people.
Right.
There was a time there actually where every week he would sit outside multiple days a week and have lunch with a big group of people.
Yeah, so you're going to be seen. You're in the #1 spot in Beverly Hills for lunch. You're going to be seen. There's tons of paparazzi there.
Yeah.
And he was upset that you guys were out filming him.
Yeah.
Oh, come on. He ignored me completely. I was at LAX. He just completely ignored me. That I never liked. I would like what Brad Pitt did when I got Brad Pitt the one time. He just said, hey, man, I'm really sorry. I just don't do interviews. And I'm like, perfect, dude. Yeah, that's fine. I like when they acknowledge you and instead of just completely stonewall you.
Do you ever see Jordan?
No.
I saw him one time at this was years ago when I was working a valet, you know, after I was home from Cambridge or whatever. And it was Prince. Prince had rented out a mansion in Beverly Park to throw a post-Oscars party. It was a great party. At one point, Prince was on stage with Stevie Wonder performing. You know, it was great. But Michael Jordan was there, and he walks out, and like, I don't know what it is. I'm sure he's a nice guy, but I felt like I was looking at Satan himself. He came up out of nowhere, like surrounded by, you know, the darkness of it was at night. And he just had this glint in his eyes, and like he was just like the master of the universe. He looked like he would punch you in the face if you
oh my
came
God.
up and talked to him. I'm sure he wouldn't.
Right.
But in that moment, I was scared.
He was protecting his image. You know, his image is very valuable.
Yeah.
So that's what I imagine. He just wants to protect his image at all costs. Like, you catch a bad angle of me, man. You know, because like every bad image of Michael, it becomes a meme.
Yeah.
You know, like the one where he's
the
like
crying
one.
Yeah.
Then the one where he's jaundiced and kind of drunk.
And it didn't help that I could overhear him talking. Like some people came up to meet him, and I could hear him being like, hey, man, is your dad coming? And they were like, no. And then he was like, oh, man, he is such a, I'll censor it. He was like, he's such a wuss. Jeez. But like, think of that more obscene.
Right.
And I was like, okay.
I remember
competitive guy.
I was talking on my stream yesterday. I think the subject that Gavin Newsom came up, and you interviewed Newsom once. I remember at Ebaldi, right?
This was before becoming governor.
Newsom.
He came out and he was talking like this because he talks like this. And he was cool though. He gave me a good interview, so I will appreciate him for that.
Right.
Uvalde was a hot spot. That's where I got Kamala Harris there once too. She came out. She was totally dressed down. She was having lunch with Ellen DeGeneres, and this was right after the floods. Like a few years, like probably 5 or 6 years ago, there were these big floods up in Santa Barbara where Ellen lives.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh no, Kamala Harris, I got nothing for her. So I started asking her about that. And if she's talking to Ellen about maybe going out there and fixing things. This is when she was just a senator from California. And so then I had to go to my physical, which I had told them, I said, look, it's my yearly physical. I got to go to the doctor. Okay. I'm going to be offline for an hour. But I get to the doctor's office and I'm sitting there. They're trying to take my heart rate. And I get a call from the office. I won't say who, but I get a call from the office going off on me like, why would you ask her about that? Why didn't you ask about Al Franken and the Me Too movement? And I was like, that was 3 months ago. How would I know to ask Kamala Harris about that today?
Yeah.
And then my doctor's sitting there like, are you okay? Like, we might need to call the emergency services in. I said, I'm fine. It's just, this is the life that I live with this job.
Yeah. It's your livelihood at stake.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that was tough. Always, you can't read the minds of the editors in a news as a producer or reporter. You know, asking questions is a key thing, especially in high stakes situations. And you know, you can't read the minds of the executives at the top who make all the editorial decisions, but they never gave us questions. So it's like, it was pretty tough.
I see someone, I can't make out the name, but they're asking, how many days have you spent at LAX? I have only spent a handful of days. Luckily, we have 2 guys, I think they're still there, that were dedicated to LAX. I did once have a shift where I had to start at LAX on Sunday mornings at 6 a.m. and it was a nightmare. I hate LAX. You know how when you go through the airport anyway, you feel like you're getting sick just because there's so many people and so much air and all that. Like every single day showing up to work, you felt like you came down with something and it could have been horrible. So I work in LAX to me sucked.
Right. I was the opposite because I live close to LAX. So my commute was short. I live 10 minutes from LAX, and I spent every day there for 3 or 4 years. I've spent hundreds of days at LAX. What I liked about it was that I parked and I stayed parked all day. I didn't have to move around the city. And there was tons of content.
Right.
I would walk. I like to get my steps in. So I'd walk. Once construction started again around 2018, 2019, LAX became a nightmare. Yeah. Well, the construction, it's like Frankenstein, you know, like that was tough to navigate. But for several years there, I loved being at LAX because I saw people there that I would never see anywhere else. Like Mick Jagger. I mean, where else are you going to see Mick Jagger?
That's true.
Tom Bradley.
That's true. Yeah, it was just stressful because they always had people that they wanted to get, and you could miss them. They could be taken out anyway. There's all kind of secret passageways and whatnot for celebrities to get out of there, and you're just stressed the whole time. So
yeah. Someone asked about parking. Yes, I had a parking pass. TMZ paid for a monthly parking pass, but it was off site, so we had to take a shuttle or walk like 20 minutes. But yeah, we parked at the Hyatt.
Craig's could be a good assignment, depending. You know, it's just you get worn out working at Craig's night after night, having to talk to every. You know, the worst was Catch. When it opened, I was there every night for the first 30 days, and it was a hot spot. Like every celebrity was showing up. You had to have like 25 topics every single night ready to go.
At Catch, when it first opened.
And you don't know who's coming. They just pop out of the car or they pop out of the door to leave, and you just got to go right for it. Yeah. It'll wear you out.
It's celebrity roulette. I call it celebrity roulette. When the limos pull up, you don't know who's getting out, you know, and then you have to have a question ready instantaneously. You know, so you have pocket questions, but sometimes pocket questions don't work for certain people at all.
That's right.
Know? So, but yeah, Craig's they talk about all the time because they know I don't like going there a lot.
Oh,
so that's why he brought it up in caps. That's more of a troll.
Yeah. Well, it's still, it's okay. It's not great though. That's another place where you see people that you never see before. Like I saw Anna Wintour and Wendy Dang, who dated not only Rupert Murdoch or was married to him, but also dated Vladimir Putin.
Oh, wow.
And they popped out one day.
Really?
Early in the dinner rush. And Anna Wintour was like so disgusted at having, I was the only camera guy there because it was early. She was so disgusted with having to be confronted with a street cameraman asking her questions. Anna Wintour, the editor of Vogue, of course.
So we did see Jared Leto yesterday. I was doing a stream, and you can stream your dash cam. You could face out on TikTok live. You can't have the camera facing yourself. So I'm driving up the Hollywood Hills on Lookout Mountain, and Jared Leto comes like a bat out of hell down and almost hits me, you know. But yeah, I saw Jared Leto yesterday. Someone just mentioned that.
He lives there, apparently.
Right. Yeah, he lives in an old Air Force base.
Yeah, I heard them talking about this on Joe Rogan the other day.
Really?
That they used to shoot all kind of military videos and whatnot up on Lookout Mountain. And he bought it and lives there now. But, you know, honestly, Jared Leto, I interviewed him once. Surprisingly cool guy. I mean, he was there to promote his band, but he gave a whole nice interview.
It's tough to find A-listers that are really, really nice. Like, I consider Jack Black an A-lister.
Yeah.
And he was super chill and cool. Like, I would say, what percentage of A-listers are going to give you a street interview? Would you say like 50?
Or less.
Yeah. It's tough. A-listers are very calculated, and they don't, you know. But yeah, Jared Leto. It was definitely him. It didn't translate on screen because I went back and looked at the replay, and you can't tell it's him. But yeah, you never know who you're going to see. I saw what's his face, Colin Farrell back like in 2010 driving a beat up Camry on Vermont. So it's like you never know who you're going to see just driving around. I saw Warren Beatty driving an old, just like, you know, 2002 Lexus. You know, I was like, that's Warren Beatty, Hollywood legend. They're not all just, because someone mentioned yesterday, is like celebrities, they don't all like have Rolls Royces and bodyguards, because people thought like, why is Jack Black out there without bodyguards? I'm like, no, he rolled up there with like a North Face backpack all beat up. You know, he's just probably a frugal guy, you know?
Yeah, a guy like that, he's not being followed by paparazzi, like the real paparazzi all the time. So they just kind of move about their lives. They get recognized here and there. They're probably nice. And then they just keep going. You know, he goes to Gelson's or wherever.
Yeah. You got to go to the, Johnny Mathis would go to Bristol Farms every day. He's a legend. He didn't have bodyguards. He just roll up by himself.
And what's his name? Billy D. Williams. He probably still is going to Bristol Farms and Fred Siegel every single day.
Every day. Yeah. We used to see a lot of legends. You don't as much like as our heyday.
No. A lot of them are gone now too.
Yep.
Rest
in peace to Tony Bennett.
Tony Bennett, yeah, I talked about this on my show. I only encountered him once.
Oh, wow.
Back in Nashville, he came through. He performed at the Schermerhorn Symphony Center, and he was pulling out. He rolled the window down. He signed a couple autographs for people. I talked to him, but he wasn't. He didn't have a lot to say. I think, unfortunately, now we know it was around the time that he was diagnosed with Alzheimer's. So, you know, he wasn't super outgoing, but that was years ago, too. So.
And also, before I forget,
Chris Does Stuff, by the way, says hi Joe.
What's up, Chris Does Stuff? He's a huge Laker fan. Chris Does Stuff.
Nice. Love that.
Give Dante a follow. He's almost to 1,000 followers on TikTok. He needs 1,000 to go live. So if you guys are in the chat and you don't follow Dante already, please show some love to the Dante Greco show.
I said this last time. If I get to 1,000 and I can go live, I can stop hijacking Joe's TikTok lives, and I will go live on my own, and we'll link up. But you know,
yeah, and I wouldn't just tell you to follow anybody. You know, his content it's great, like really good news commentary. You know,
thank you. Did you have a chance to see Barbenheimer?
Who's Barbenheimer? I don't know.
Barbie and Oppenheimer.
Oh no,
that came out this past weekend.
What is it?
Oh, this is, I don't know if it's an organic marketing thing or if it was cooked up by, you know, some PR company, but Barbie and Oppenheimer by Christopher Nolan were opening this past weekend. And it was like, they're both the big movies of the summer. And people were like, which one are we going to see? So then eventually the fans or some PR people decided, well, what if we just combine it to Barbenheimer and you do a double feature?
Oh, wow.
You see one, then you go see the other. Actually, I saw a picture of Quentin Tarantino in Westwood. He went and saw Oppenheimer at the Fox Theater where all the premieres are. And he walked across the street to the Bruin which is where they shot part of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and he saw Barbie.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I saw them both, not back to back.
Which one did you like more?
I got to be honest. I like Barbie more.
All right.
I went with my fiance to both. All right. I may not have seen Barbie on my own.
Right.
Because I wouldn't want to be stared at in the theater. But I actually quite enjoyed it.
My girlfriend loved it. I mean, she said it was a lot about female empowerment, and it was a surprising movie. You know, like there was a lot of good messages in there.
Yeah, I've got a clip about this on my Dante Greco channel right now on TikTok, talking about the kind of woke backlash, and I just sit there like, why fight over Barbie?
Right?
Like it's not. It's not. They didn't take like The Godfather or something and woke it up. Okay,
Right,
it's
right.
the Barbie movie. Relax.
Somebody just asked, and this is funny. Somebody just asked if we ever saw Brandon Priestley. And are you saying that because Dante resembles Jason Priestley, Brandon from 90210? Like that question just came up. It's pretty funny. And I have seen him.
That's funny. I got Jason Priestley once
yeah.
at what's that steakhouse? Mastro's.
Nice.
He was cool. I had a good question for him. This was back in the day. I asked him if he keeps his celebrity contacts in his phone under different names, so that way if his phone ever goes missing, the thief won't be able to call,
Interesting.
What's that guy's name? Ian Ziering or whoever else was on the show with him.
Yeah, Ian.
And he confirmed it. He says he does keep them under different names. Smart.
Interesting.
Security.
Yeah. Well, if it happens upon my phone, they're gonna get some real names. I'm gonna call Suge Knight.
Yeah, give him a call. I wonder if we can visit him.
Let's call Suge Knight's number right now.
What if it still gets
I
forwarded?
mean, I once had his number. Let's just see what's going on and ask for Suge.
Okay, we're gonna call Suge Knight right now.
We're gonna call Suge Knight. I have Suge Knight's number here. I'm not gonna who cares? He's definitely not his number anymore. But Suge Knight.
Suge Knight.
All right. We're gonna call Suge. See what. Oh wow! All right, I'm on the live here, so I got to get off that live.
This is exciting. Suge has been locked up for a few years.
We're gonna ask for Suge.
We don't know if the message is gonna be.
You're attempting to use has been restricted or is unavailable. Please contact customer care for assistance. Message NE40.
It's restricted in jail.
So if you couldn't hear it, his number is restricted, which to me is a glimmer of hope because it means Suge has not given up his number. Someone else didn't answer it. He still has it. So to me, that means that he thinks he might get out.
I have Post Malone's phone number, and I text back and forth with him a few times. And this was back when he just came out with White Iverson. He was not the mega star that he is now.
Yeah,
he was up and coming. Should we call him?
Maybe, I don't know. Maybe once we get the real studio set up.
Right.
He's cool though. He follows me on
cool.
Instagram. Me and another camera guy met him coming out of the Gucci store.
Nice.
And we were like, yo, can you give us a shout out? We're trying to get our followers up. He's like, well, I won't do that, but I'll follow you. And it's been good 5 years. He has not unfollowed.
Nice.
Probably the nicest big celeb that there is, Post Malone.
He is nice, down to earth, would take his shirt off his own back for you. He's a sweetheart. Yeah. I love him. And a big fan of his, man.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Everybody loves Post Malone. And they love Provolone.
Provolone, Post Malone.
All right. So what else we got here? Any other big news stories?
What do you think about this? Tom Brady has finally selected his new match, Irina Shayk, supermodel. Used to date Bradley Cooper. Actually has a baby with Bradley Cooper. Now, apparently Bradley is upset about this. Gisele Bündchen, Tom's ex, is not upset. She's happy. She wants him to move on. Was this the right? Now, listen, height-wise, I think she's a good choice. But apparently he had the pick of Kim Kardashian if he wanted. I mean, not the pick, but like they talked at the Michael Rubin July 4th party. They could have kept it going.
Right.
And I actually just suggested Sofia Vergara, who is also tall and newly single, broke up with Joe Manganiello. I thought they could be a good match, and they're similar in age. Tom and Irina.
Well, I just think that it's good for her. I mean, he's he's the greatest football player of all time.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a football god. I don't know too much about Irina Shayk, you know, like outside of, I mean, this is great for her career.
Definitely.
You know,
Definitely.
I mean, it really will skyrocket her. Him, you know, I mean, shout out Tom Brady. Seems like a really nice guy. Seems like a good dude.
Irina is back. You know, she hasn't had a high profile relationship in a couple of years since she and Bradley went their separate ways. And so, you know, she's back in the news. I think it's great.
Someone's asking, can Dante drive a 5-speed transmission?
Is that manual?
Yeah, I think that's
if
manual.
that is, then no.
No, I can't either.
I cannot. I
can't.
never learned, and I don't think I ever will. I don't think they even make those anymore.
They don't really, do they?
Right?
No, it's hard to find. Yeah, I can't. I've tried a couple times. I was okay, but I've been in some sticky situations in a Jeep, like an old like Wrangler from the 80s, stick shift. Oh my gosh, it was so hard.
Yeah,
so tough.
My boss tried to teach me once. It didn't take, so they gave up.
Yeah. Let's see. Other questions.
See if anything
three
else
rudest, top
news.
3 rudest A-listers. I like it.
I mean, if you consider Busta Rhymes an A-lister, then Busta Rhymes, always rude. God, who else? It's been a while since I've thought about this. I tried to put all the negative experiences out of my head.
Right. People they ask more about negative stuff, but
Lana Del Rey once. Most of the times I got her, she was cool, but the last time I got her a couple of years ago, I said, Lana, I'm just curious. And she said, I don't give an F about what you're curious about.
Yeah.
And she kept walking. So must have been in a bad mood.
Yeah.
Alec Baldwin, he didn't really talk. Like, the difference is when we would try to interview somebody, we're not getting this close to them. Like, some of the camera people who are freelancers will come right up and they're like taking pictures of his baby and of his wife. It's like,
we were like 10 feet away.
The times that you saw him yelling at people were when they were just relentlessly following him or being right outside his house, you know, in New York, where you can't, I guess they don't have underground garages there. He had to walk through the scrum. So usually, I mean, he's not cool, but he'll just ignore you.
I didn't try with him. I saw him in Beverly Hills. I left it. I was like, I'm not going to go up to Alec Baldwin.
A couple times I was like, well, maybe if I compliment his podcast, here's the thing, he'll be
nice,
cool.
A little finesse game,
a little finesse.
Yeah,
you know, but he was not.
No. Well, I ran into Ronan yesterday. Ronan, the photographer, and he's got a famous video. And I was going live, and Ronan made sure that I mentioned that on my live.
Oh, he likes that.
Yeah, he likes it because he gave him. He got cursed out by Alec Baldwin. But
this is one where Alec is like all up in his face, and he's like, "You're a piece of garbage. Get away from my wife with the camera with the baby."
I've had 3, maybe 4 out of thousands of times approaching celebrities with cameras. Probably only 4 really negative ones. James Cameron flipped me off when I asked him what the best space movie was. Caitlyn Jenner in the same spot at the CVS in Malibu hit me with her purse. She flipped up. She looked like this. And I was like, what? You know, for no reason. Like, you know, I asked her about like Michael Phelps or some other Olympian. You know, my questions are very softball. Like, I didn't ask the hard hitting questions. You asked harder hitting questions than I did.
Yeah.
Because you had bigger huevos. But so she is essentially, you know,
there was a definite change, and I don't want to dead name Caitlyn, but when Caitlyn was Bruce, they were a little more easygoing or something. They talked more. Yeah. Then after that, I don't know.
Caitlyn was very calculated, and she just didn't like the attention.
The pressure got too much or something. And
and then Sean Penn was very, you know, Penn. I think he would have wanted to fight me if I didn't have a camera in my hand, like beat me up, like for no reason. I wasn't even going up to Sean Penn. I was literally I was done with an interview and I was walking through the Country Mart with the camera in my hand, minding my own business. And he stops and he made sure to tell me how disgusted he was with my presence. Even though I could have been filming a documentary. I could have been filming a commercial. Like, what is wrong with you?
You could have been a tourist, you know?
Sean Penn drives around Malibu, or he used to. I don't know. He probably still lives there. Up in Point Duke, drives around Malibu in a Carhartt jacket and a Nissan Titan that's all beat up. He literally thinks he's a rancher. there are ranches in Malibu. Don't get me wrong. But like you were Spicoli, you're, you know, like he really thought like he was just like a mountaineer.
He's too into his whole thing. You know, he's going to the Ukraine and he's going to, hey, it's like, all right, that's great if you're doing some humanitarian work, but it doesn't mean that you're like a grizzled veteran of conflict.
He could never be on my stream or on my lives or on my videos anyway, because he always has a cigarette in his mouth.
Oh, yeah.
And I did want to bring that up real quick. Like, I posted a video on TikTok the day before yesterday, and I got a message, and it had 150,000 views. It was a Comic-Con montage, and it probably would right now have like 500,000 views, but there was a Kevin Smith cosplay.
Yeah.
Just 1 second, 1.5 seconds. And he had a cigarette in his mouth, and TikTok deplatformed the video.
That's so ridiculous that the algorithm is not advanced enough yet to figure out that like you're not like, I don't even want
it says no alcohol or tobacco.
You know who else was rude was the girl who plays Maggie on The Walking Dead. She one time, I got her in Beverly Hills, and it's just like such an unnecessary overreaction of like, get away. It's like we're on Canon where all the restaurants are, and you want to say like, listen, no offense, but you left the show, which was a bad move, and we could see that because you went running back to it, and now you got some spinoffs, but like you're not like a Lauren Cohan is her name. You're not a major star. In 20 years, you'll be at the con signing, I'm sure, but you're not going to be like super relevant to people.
A little too much of an overreaction. And one time Pink got really mad at me.
But
we made up. Like,
but that wasn't really your fault, right?
No, well, it was like, it was a holiday, I had to work holidays. It was like Easter Sunday, and I had to work, and I was out in Malibu, and Pink was having brunch with her family.
Yeah.
And I needed content. I needed a shot. I just did. That's what they were paying us to be out there doing this job. And, I like you always valued my job. It was like we had steady income. We live in Los Angeles, it's very expensive. And, it was our career. And so Pink got so upset that I tried to interview her. And she was like, had some really mean things to say to me. And then I turned the camera off and I had a conversation with her. I said, look, I'm not doing this for my health. Like I explained to her what I was doing, my job, because we weren't allowed to like really tell celebrities like what we were doing beforehand.
Yeah.
I remember like you're not allowed to like ask them, because 90% of the time they're going to say no to an interview.
You got to shoot first and talk afterwards.
Exactly.
Which happened a lot of times. There were times when I would like film someone and then they would just be giving me nothing, and they'd be kind of like upset. And then I put the camera down and be like, look, sorry, I have to do it. Like, especially if there's other camera people there, you got no choice.
Yeah. And you explain to them, and it's like the same people that are cutting your checks, Warner Music, are paying me. So take it up with the executives at Warner. You know what I mean? Like the same people that are cutting our checks.
They used to be, I would hear Alec Baldwin talk about that too, about how he'd be like, I don't get it. Like, down one hallway at Warner Brothers, I'm making a movie, and down the other, you got Harvey Levin and TMZ trying to fish fry me.
Right. Well,
of course, they solved that when they sold to Fox. So
but Pink and I ended up having even a better relationship because that happened. And then after that, she was always so nice to me. I didn't shoot her every time, but when I did, she actually talked, and she was super cool. And Carey Hart was even more cool. He's a great guy.
Oh yeah, and of course Will Ferrell. I mean, he's the classic guy who's not cool about it at all. He's always got kind of like a weird aggressive thing, and
that surprises most people.
Yeah,
he's not a nice dude,
at
least to us. Like
when you see Will Ferrell acting crazy for comedic effect, I think that's really him, and he just tries to make it funny for the camera,
right?
But in real life, he's actually like
sour,
that kind of guy.
Yeah. I tried to get him at the LA Football Club. He was there. He was with Tony Robbins. He was with Mayor Eric Garcetti. He was with Magic Johnson. And I think they were all like co-owners of the LA Football Club. And it was a huge media event. He was the only one that didn't talk to any of the media there. And it was like, come on, dude, give it up a little bit for the local KABC people at least.
Right.
He wouldn't. I don't know. Yeah. I actually never thought he was that funny. I'm sorry. I know it's an unpopular opinion. I'm not a Will Ferrell. I don't think he's that funny.
I found him funnier on Saturday Night Live. I don't think he's quite gotten back to those comedic heights. Obviously, he's had a huge career, but just in terms of being funny,
he's good. He's good, but he's not like, I don't think he's like as legendary as a Steve Martin or, you know, an Eddie Murphy, you know. His Harry Carey is okay. They always talk about his Harry Carey being like amazing. It's all right. I watched Harry Carey growing up. He was like, I idolized the guy. It was a decent impression. It wasn't anything to like call and share with my dad or anything.
You ever see Steve Martin?
Once. He didn't talk at all. I saw him on Bedford.
Me too. He walks around like in like an Inspector Gadget uniform. He's got like a fedora and sunglasses.
Nice.
Like he looks like he walked out of the 1950s or some noir film. But he doesn't give you anything. I tried to do the thing where I was like, hey, I heard you used to give out cards that said that this certifies that you met Steve Martin. I was like, can I get one? But he didn't play along.
Yeah. Rob Reiner and I used to bond over Steve Martin because his father directed The Jerk, which was Steve Martin's baby. That was like Steve Martin's Rocky. Like The Jerk, Steve Martin wrote it. He was a struggling comedian. He wrote it. Carl Reiner produced it. It became this legendary film. It's hilarious. And it's Rob Reiner's favorite comedy of all time. And so is mine too. Cause like, you know, and Rob Reiner obviously directed Princess Bride, another great movie, but it was just interesting how like you can bond over with people based on, you know, what your favorite like movie is. Cause I grew up with The Jerk, and it was unfortunate that Steve Martin was like that, but guess who wasn't? Guess who was super nice the one time I got him, who I think is one of the most underrated comedic talents in the world, Martin Short.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I got him at LAX. He looked great, and he was just so freaking nice, dude. Like,
yeah, I heard Robin Williams was cool too. I think one of our coworkers got him.
Yeah.
And by the way, you know, just for anybody watching, just because someone doesn't talk to us, I don't judge them and be like, oh, this person sucks, I hate them because they don't talk. A lot of times I get it totally. If someone just stonewalls us and keeps it moving, it's only when they go the extra step of being like, oh my God, what are you doing? Like, how could you? You know, because again, we weren't outside anyone's house. We were just like on the playing field, Beverly Hills, Rodeo.
At notable places, mostly like places where celebrities go, you know, like the Malibu Country Mart, Beverly Hills, Cannon, Rodeo Drive. But yeah, I never held it against them either. Like, that's why I think 90% of like Hollywood has been very gracious and cool. And a lot of times the best part about the job is that you got to talk and meet with, you know, people that you admired. You were inspired by it. Like, sometimes you had to pinch yourself. You're like, I can't believe I'm actually talking to Janet Jackson right now. You know?
Right. Did you talk to Janet Jackson?
Yeah, briefly. Yes, I got Janet once at the same place. A lot of A-listers at Taverna Tony in Malibu. You know, brief conversation, but I got Tom Cruise there too.
How was he?
It made the site. It was I said, how you holding up? It was right after the breakup with Katie Holmes. And he said, doing great. That was it. They used it. It's not anywhere because it was probably like 2012 before they started putting everything on YouTube.
Yeah.
It's probably not even on the site anywhere, but I had to pay the valet $100 for that one. And he thought that was cheap. He was like upset. That was top dollar.
Yeah. I don't know what they thought people were making off these videos, but especially us, we just got paid a salary. You know, people think you're going to give them like $5,000 for a celebrity tip. Like,
no,
this ain't the 1990, say 1992.
Exactly.
Do I wear socks with flip flops? I do not. I don't even wear flip flops that often. So that Jack Nicholson, I met him once. I've seen him talk to camera guys, but I only met him once back when I was doing ballet. It was great. I was at Mo Austin. He was a big record producer. It was his wife's funeral, and the limo pulls up. And the door opens, and I just see his hairline, and then he comes up like eyes are all red. It smells like marijuana, you know.
Really?
And he's standing there like, this is at UCLA. So he looks at me, he goes, is there smoking allowed on this campus?
He said that?
And I was like, yeah, I don't know for you, sure. I don't know, whatever you want, Jack. And he's like, well, I've got an ashtray.
He said that? That's incredible.
The guy walks around with his own ashtray.
Oh my
God. I
gosh.
shook his hand, you know, told him I was a big fan. He was very gracious.
That is awesome, dude. Let's see. Somebody says something's going on with Doja Cat.
Oh yeah, she's told all her fans to stop calling themselves kittens. She was like, I don't like this. I don't like you people. Like, she has a weird relationships with her fans and with fame in general. I don't, look, she gets into that weird kind of devil, Satan, like, dark magic thing. And that's part of her image, I suppose.
Yeah.
But to me, it's a little desperate. I don't know. Maybe Hollywood has gotten the pressure has gotten to her.
Well, this viewer says that
uncomfortable.
someone sent her a video of her doing drugs, but
I saw that. You can hear what sounds like something that you would do with your nostrils.
Yeah,
but we don't.
You
know
never
for
know.
Sure.
Yeah,
but I mean, look, what is she like? 22. She's rich. She's famous. Look, I'm sorry to break it to everybody, but a lot of celebrities are probably still doing that.
What about Pedro Pascal? Everybody asked me about Pedro Pascal. He was after our time.
I've seen him be interviewed and be cool, but I never got him either.
Yeah, no, his rise to fame and just probably being around LA, that was after we were gone.
Yeah.
Within the past year.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah. What else? Any other breaking news?
I've got nothing.
I do want to say Shohei Ohtani, the greatest baseball player to ever live, is possibly leaving Los Angeles before the trade deadline in 1 week. I just would be really sad, and because for the past 5 years, I've been able to watch the greatest baseball talent. The most talent. It's not the greatest baseball player to ever live yet, but he's the most talented baseball player ever, for relatively cheap. Angel Stadium, you can get a ticket for $5, park for $10. Now parking's $20. But I'm going to be sad about that because I've really, really enjoyed watching Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah.
Down there, and I don't know why the Angels are just not as popular a ticket as the Dodgers.
Well, I think it's just that they're in Anaheim. I don't know. Maybe it's a little bit far out for
Angelinos
fans. Yeah,
but still, Anaheim is not exactly Siberia.
It's not, but it's a lot just to get the Dodger Stadium.
Right.
It's actually like one of the most difficult stadiums to get into because you got to park and then walk up a giant hill.
Yeah.
Like, good luck bringing your grandfather there,
right,
or something. So I think that's what it is. It's like, if we're gonna go somewhere, we're gonna go to Dodger Stadium. Anaheim's a little bit too far out. By the way, I saw somebody asking if we'd ever interviewed Keanu Reeves. Now, you had a great Keanu Reeves interaction.
I did. Yeah, that was a great day. That was one of my last big clips at TMZ. I was probably 2 months out from the phone call saying you've been laid off.
You got Oppenheimered.
So yeah, I was in Malibu, and you all these things about Keanu Reeves. If you're on the internet, you see these videos of him on the subway, him just doing normal daily things and just being chill. I was in Malibu, and I thought it was Noah Wyle, because I had seen Noah Wyle before, and they have a similar look, and they're both the same height. So I thought it was Noah Wyle, and so I'm like, oh, Noah Wyle, cool. And there was no one there. It was Malibu. It was a Tuesday. It was like 10 a.m. And it was just Keanu sitting on a stoop smoking cigarettes. Sorry, Keanu. But he was, smoking a cigarette, relaxing, enjoying the day in this public area, in the mall area, on the stoop. People are driving by. No one spotted him. No one was seeing Keanu. And he was on his motorcycle, which it's a custom motorcycle. He's got his own motorcycle company.
Yeah.
But I just went up to him off camera and started talking to him. And basically, we had a great conversation about Hollywood, about his career, how if he came to Hollywood now, he wouldn't know what to do, because he said the way that he got acting gigs was through acting classes. So he joined an actor's studio, take acting classes, and then do a showcase every Friday or every couple weeks, every couple months. They do showcases. And he said all the executives, casting people would come to those and select you from stage acting gigs.
Yeah.
And he said now he's like, I don't even know. Cause I was kind of telling him like how I ended up a TMZ guy, and he's like, just gave me great advice. It was real down to earth. And I said, do you mind if I film you on your way to your bike? He said, I'll try to give you something, man. And he did. He was great.
It was really cool. And nowadays you got to have followers to get cast in it. You actually now, as the joy of everything grows, you might have a better chance at becoming an actor now.
Really? I didn't know that.
And
Well,
because you know,
let's
people
go.
will be interested in what you're doing. And I saw someone else asking about Robert De Niro a couple times. I met him once coming out of a party. He's standing there with Dennis Hopper, and you know, Dennis Hopper's cool, but I was a much bigger De Niro fan. And I got to tell you, it was anticlimactic. I step up to him. I just say, Mr. De Niro, I'm a huge fan. And he's like looking at me the whole time because he could tell I'm looking at him and I'm going to say something. And he like limply reaches his hand out, doesn't even look. He's just like, and then he gets in his car and leaves. So out of the three, the triumvirate of the great actors of the 70s, Nicholson, Pacino, and De Niro, he's by far the most disappointing. Pacino's a lot of fun. Jack was very nice. De Niro is just like,
yeah, that's amazing. You got all three. You missed Dustin Hoffman.
I run into him once, but I didn't really meet him.
Yeah.
He used to be in Brentwood all the time.
I never saw De Niro and never saw Nicholson. So the fact that you got both Pacino, I have gotten Pacino and I have gotten Hoffman, but the fact that you got the hat trick there, that's pretty impressive.
Top three.
Wow. Those are legendary.
Absolutely.
I met Al Pacino's sister at a restaurant in Palm Springs. She was my waitress.
Didn't know he had one.
Yeah, no, I don't know.
Does he know?
Yeah, he must. It's yeah, I don't want to, but anyway, yeah, she was my waitress in Palm Springs one night.
That's cool.
Yeah. Clint Eastwood, I saw him in Carmel. I just said hi to him.
Yeah, we used to send guys up to the Pebble Beach golf thing, and he would always he was cool.
Yeah, he's cool. Yeah.
I never got him.
Yeah, that was probably one of the best assignments I ever had. Besides Sundance, going and 1 year I covered with our fellow old coworker who doesn't want us to talk about him for some reason.
Reel of everything.
Yeah, the reel of everything. We covered that together, and it was an enormous amount of fun. The Celebrity Pro-Am, and you just walk around the golf course and it's like Bill Murray, Larry the Cable Guy, Aaron Rodgers, Mark Wahlberg, Justin Timberlake. I had a video of Mark Wahlberg going into the woods to do his own kind of live stream. And I thought it was going to make, but they didn't use it. But yeah, because he was on the golf course, and that's where he just went into the woods.
One live stream where you hope he doesn't have any followers.
I didn't. Yeah, exactly.
He's cool too. Mark Wahlberg was always pretty nice.
He is chill. He's
especially
chill
for an A-lister. He's one of those A-listers that you put in the.
Yeah. Any big plans for this upcoming week, Dante?
Not really.
No.
To be honest, every day is the same thing. Trying to make content one way or another, posting things. That's pretty much what it is now.
Well, we take it as it comes,
Yeah.
So it's going to be hot. We're in LA. It's we're a massive heat wave all over the country.
Okay, I've seen this question a few times. I keep forgetting.
Yeah.
What do we think of the Jamie Foxx story? I am very happy that the guy is talking and seems to have all his faculties and is able to move. I know people think it's a conspiracy, that it's a clone. Is it a little weird that he has a movie coming out called They Cloned Tyrone right now? Is this some big kind of viral marketing thing? Probably not. But it's a weird coincidence.
That is weird. I didn't know that.
But what I want to say is, when I talked about the videos of him on the yacht and then the videos of him at the Topgolf and giving the woman's bag back, people were still saying, no, we don't know that's him. We got to see. He needs to make a video where he says, it's me, Jamie, and here's what happened. So he did that. So can we stop claiming that it's not really Jamie Foxx, that it's a clone? And look, people said he looked different in the video. It's because of the camera lens. The camera lens probably like elongated the top of his head. It's the perspective. And he looks obviously like he's been through something serious. He doesn't look as healthy as he would have before this. But like, I just like, unless it's a very good deep fake, I think it's Jamie Foxx. I think we could put it to bed.
You can't get around all the theories and conversations on social media. My one big question is, how come the mainstream media doesn't ever talk about the buzz around social media about these conspiracy theories.
Right.
Like, I think it should be addressed by the mainstream media because it is a social phenomena. Social media is part of media, but they don't ever talk about it on mainstream media. Like, if they did an interview or even local news, it's like, hey, you know, so you could put those theories to bed. You know, they never make like official statements about the theories surrounding.
I agree
things.
completely. Yeah. That's why, by the way, even though I'm dismissing the theory, I always try to talk about all sides of the story on my show. I will talk about the conspiracy theory. I'll talk about what people are speculating online, and all that. And it's much more interesting, you know, not just from me, but like when any other outlet or any other like podcaster does it, you want to hear it because that's what the real conversation is. The real conversation going on out there is not the official storyline. We know that. Let's talk about it.
Exactly.
So, and that's why, you know, independent media is taking off.
It is. And you know, you can't help but to see it. You go on a post, there's going to be comments, and you know, they should be addressed. They should be addressed.
Definitely.
But we don't know. I mean, you know, you can only speculate, you can only theorize.
I read something that,
and it can be exhausting too, by the way. Like, it can. Like,
oh yeah.
Once you start thinking about it can be kind of like, well, what's the point?
Can't get too far in the weeds.
Right.
But I did read some comment somewhere that I thought was astute, which was we might not ever find out the real reason because of potential insurance payout that the movie he was working on right now that they may have had to make. We don't know that for sure. I'd like to see more confirmation, but that's an interesting reason why we're not getting the exact cause.
Yeah, that's fascinating. Well, wishing him, Bronny James, and others who are suffering from health issues, you know, just wishing them well.
Right.
Any updates on Val Kilmer's health? I don't know. I saw the documentary. It was pretty sad to see him lose his voice.
Yeah.
I used to see him in Malibu all the time at Ralph's. He would park around back so he wasn't spotted, but he lived on Old Malibu Road, and he would come in so he didn't want to be photographed. And he did run for me once. When I first started at TMZ, it was a really kind of quiet night, and he was walking in the plaza, and I was like excited to see him. So I was like, "Hey Val, how's it going?" He looks at me and he just did a dead sprint.
Right.
And I thought it was I was like, you don't have to run. You know, I was like, don't run. Don't hurt yourself.
I mean,
he took a dead sprint.
I'm not going to run after you.
He booked it. It was, I have a video. There's a video in the TMZ archives of Val Kilmer just running down the hall, the plaza, the covered kind of loggia.
Right.
You know,
that's funny.
Yeah. All right.
Well, I guess, you know, we put in another good hour in hour 12. So we'll save some stories for the next time. But I want to say thank you all for having me as a guest on The Joy of Everything. I appreciate everybody. And to my viewers, all two of you, I thank you for sticking through it.
Yeah. And once again, if you're just joining, please give the Dante Greco Show a follow. He's about to get to a milestone of 1,000 followers. So please give him a follow. Let's see if we can, you know, after this is all said and done today, if he's over that threshold. It's a major threshold.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You got it.
All right, guys. See you next week or so.
Thanks for having me, Dante.
For people on my show, I'll see you tomorrow or whenever I feel like doing it again.
Yep.
All right.
Stream. We'll see you guys a little later today. All right. Peace.